Hello, chess family. It's time for another game in Logical Chess. It's me again, National Master Jesse James. Let's take a look at this game. Here we're going to see Chernev versus Handbooth. I tried my best. Chernev is going to be playing the white side of this game, and he's going to be playing his colle system. Now, this is going to be a very nice game demonstrating the colle once again, except a different plan for how black responds to it. Let's take a look. Here we go. d4, d5, knight to f3. Again, one of the main ideas in these TLC openings, like I like to call them, the Tory London colle. The only difference is where you put your bishop. In the colle, we're just going to leave our bishop here. If you go to the London system, you put it on f4. If you put it on g5, you're playing the Tory, the TLC. The main idea for all these openings is to control this e5 square, and again, make that little house right here on the dark squares so that black can never really push through and get any opening advantage. White is so solid in this opening. It's definitely one that you should take a look at. Although I wouldn't recommend you start playing this opening to around 1800 or so. So knight f3 gets played. Black goes ahead and responds with pawn to e6, pawn to e3. Again, we're going to keep our bishop inside here this time. And pawn to c5. This is a very good move for black that you have to play against mostly all the d4 systems. If you don't play c5 in your d4 games, you're not going to be able to break white's center. If you can't break the center, it's going to be really hard to achieve equality. So c5 gets played, the best move in the position. And anytime black plays c5, white needs to play pawn c3. Black continues with knight to f6. What's the next piece we're going to move? Here there's two good moves. Hopefully you can find one of them. Here the best move to play is bishop to d3. Now if you think about bringing your bishop out to b5 for check, this is a bad idea. It's almost like when you play the French. If you bring your bishop out here, well, black's more than happy to either trade off his bad light square bishop or maybe just play knight c6 hoping you will take. Now this light square bishop is so important for your attack, you never really want to trade off unless you're going to be winning material. Bishop d3 is the perfect spot, attacking this h7 pawn. Remember, when black's king is uncastled, f7 is the weakness. Whenever they castle, h7 is the weakness. You may say, well, the king's in the center now. Again, we're thinking about in the future, we're trying to attack where they're going to be a few moves later, assuming that they castle. So bishop d3 gets played. Black continues with the best move, knight to c6. And white goes ahead and plays knight b to d2 here. Castles is also another move here, although I think knight b d2 is the most accurate move. Black plays bishop b7. I will not advocate for these lines. I'm sure there might be some decent lines for them, but one of the most important squares is e5, so I will always advocate for bishop to d6, again, fighting for e5. In fact, black can try to play e5 and get equality in this position. In fact, I don't even really see a way to stop it. So bishop b7 gets played. And of course, white just goes ahead and castles, and black follows behind it and castles. Here, Chernev plays another typical move in this colle. He goes ahead and plays. Hopefully you see it. There's two moves here. Let's see if you can find it. Is it rook e1 or queen e2? If you chose rook e1, not a bad idea. But here in the game, I like the way Chernev plays this. He plays queen to e2 here, developing the queen. It's almost asking for black to play this c4 move. If you've seen the last video, we know why c4 is a strategically lost move, because white, after they play something like c4 here, after bishop c2, it's going to take a long time for black to create the queenside attack, while we're going to be able to open up the center and start a kingside attack very, very fast. Already the computer will give this a very high plus in this position. It's already giving it a +1. So black did not fall for this positional trap and play pawn to c4. He goes ahead and plays rook to e8. An okay looking move here. And here, this is one of the strategies that you have for the colle. Do you know the plan here? We're going to go ahead and play d takes c5. It seems like a strange move here. Why would you give up your center pawn for the wing pawn? Well, here we have a certain idea in mind. After black takes back, now we play the follow-up to this plan. We play pawn to e4. This is a very strong move here, and pretty much almost forces black to go ahead and take on e4 here. As we're going to see, black doesn't take, and white creates so much counterplay. Now we understand why. It's probably best to just go ahead and take here. I mean, everything that you do here for black is most likely going to give white some good counterplay. For instance, if you do not take, white can play pawn to e5, kicking the knight away, and now we have this beautiful light square bishop. e5 is such a big threat here. I'll just go ahead and make like a silly move in like bishop d7, but here now white has, it says it's already +2 now after the simple move of e5, and the knight really has no good square to run to. It'll run to like g4, and yeah, you can just see this is such a beautiful way to play this. You have a lot of kingside space. White is going to get a very strong kingside attack. So knight b3 attacking the bishop. The bishop goes back to b6. There's already maybe Greek gift ideas with bishop takes h7 idea. Yeah, too much here for white. So we can't allow e5 here. What's another move we can try to play for black? Gosh, if you take on e4, which did not happen in the game, you're going to go ahead and play knight takes. And now again, you see this really annoying stuff. If knight takes on e4, queen takes on e4. Now we have a simple battery on h7. And any way that you defend, you're going to create the weaknesses. If you play, obviously not h6 because you just played the queen there. If you play g6, you see you have dark square weaknesses around the king. And you have a bishop ready to jump in there. If you play pawn to f5, well, now you got a backwards pawn open file. Plus, your king has gotten a little bit weak. White's very happy just playing something like queen e2 and maybe putting pressure on the long diagonal over here. Even knight g5 starts putting on the pawn on e6. Yeah, if e5 already, white gets a very strong attack. Bishop check, king h8, and just a simple knight g5. And knight f7 is really going to make this position hard. Queen is coming to h5. It's already giving this position a +5, saying, well, yeah, we're just up an extra rook here. So, in the game, black tried to combat this, fighting fire with fire, and plays pawn to e5. Now, this is a good try. Unfortunately, white just has too much counterplay in this position. Yeah, this is such a good try. I mean, the slight square bishop wants to get out. If he can get the g4, then everything will be okay. Unfortunately, white has a lot of forced moves here, and it's just going to get a very good position. What do you play here as white? Well, first things first, let's go ahead and open up this bishop. We're going to go ahead and play pawn takes. And black responded with knight takes on d5. I definitely, this is such a natural move. It's hard to say this is bad. Yeah, it's really hard to say this is bad. The other move would be queen takes on d5, although I think white has a lot of good moves here, like knight to e4. Again, we want to trade off this knight in a lot of lines because the knight is the main defender for the h7 pawn. And so knight takes f6 is being threatened. If you try to play bishop g4, we're very happy trading and then playing bishop e4. There's a kingside weakness. Here, black has some problems here. Even rook to d1 for discovery ideas. Oof. For instance, like bishop e7, rook to d1. Now there's knight takes f6 check, bishop check, and then taking the queen. Oof. Black will have to respond very creatively to get equal position. So black went ahead and played knight takes on d5, threatening knight to f4 here to attack both the queen and the bishop. But that's okay. Let's just go ahead and keep making progress here. A very nice, simple move here. I really like this game because it's so natural. All the moves that we play here are very natural at this point. Well, we have an undefended bishop. We want to open up this guy. We don't want to allow knight f4, so what do we play? A simple chess. Let's go ahead and play knight to b3, attacking the bishop. And the bishop needs to move away. It ran to, oh, I'm so sorry. It went ahead. Black went ahead and played queen to b6. This is another move I will criticize. I would definitely run the bishop away to b6 here. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't keep our bishop pair here. So yeah, it's just still surprising for me that somebody would not do this. Bishop b6, and the game is about equal. In fact, it even says black is about slightly better here with a -0.1. But after queen b6, now it is white who is much better. In fact, right now, white has a very nice combination to win some material. Can you see the idea? Hopefully you found the move. Here, I'll give you the hints. Remember, h7 is going to be the weak square. The knight here is undefended. How do we do a double attack for both of these guys and win material? If you said queen e4, you didn't calculate ahead enough. Black simply plays knight to f6, defending on h7 and attacking the queen. Here you have to calculate both moves, and this time it's going to be bishop takes h7 check, king takes, and now just a simple move. Queen e4 check, king back, and queen takes on d5. Not only do you win a pawn, but you even make a threat against the bishop here on c5. Oof. All right, what does black play? Bishop back to f8. Not a bad idea here, but now white just gets a very, very strong attack with playing nice, simple attacking moves. Because the rook is gone, f7 has gone a little bit weak. Let's continue this kingside attack. Here, h7 pawn is gone too, so the h file is opened up. This also plays to white's attack. Here we go. What's the move? Knight to g5, simple threat, putting pressure on f7. Black played what we thought they'd play. Black plays. Bishop to e6. Let's go ahead and move this queen and make a threat. Where'd you move the queen to? Hopefully you found the right spot. e4, nice and simple, threatening the checkmate on h7 here. Again, what we're doing is making natural moves here to attack, but again, black needs to defend these by making pawn moves and making his king weaker and weaker. After this, black really only has one move. He has to play pawn to g6. And again, because this h-file is open up, the h7 is particularly weak. Notice if you try to play something like f5, oof, the game is pretty much almost over after the simple queen h4 here, as well the king cannot run to the f7 square. Black needs to vacate and play something like bishop c5. The game will be over quite fast. It's actually kind of similar to what happens in the game. So black played the best defense, which is g6. Let's continue the attack. What do we play? Queen to h4, of course, looking at this checkmate on h7. Black responds with bishop g7. And, well, here, again, we're going to stop real quick. We're going to plan ahead. What do we play here to continue the attack? All right, hopefully you found the right way to proceed here, because this is one of the critical positions in this game. How do you continue the attack? If you calculated the queen h7 checks, those moves are okay, and in fact they may be okay. But the real idea in this position is to know, well, with the bishop here on g7 and you have no bishop here to trade off, there is no checkmate. At least not right now. The queen cannot get on the dark squares. So what do you have to do? You have to bring in reinforcements, of course. Play the simple natural moves in chess and go ahead and play. Developing with the threat, bishop e3. The idea here is to try and get the bishop to c5 so we can control f8. Why do we want to control f8 in this game? Well, if you control f8, it's checkmate. So a nice developing move, bishop e3, attacking the queen. The queen went to a6. Now you could play something like bishop c5 here, but black will see the threat and play knight to e7. Again, white's just winning in this position, but here, let's just play the simple natural moves. Let's keep adding more attackers. Here we have a very natural move. Of course, knight to c5, a nice double attack on the queen and the bishop here. You see these knights are just having a great time making all these threats. Black has to move the queen. Queen went to c4 asking, can we make a queen trade? Do we want to trade queens here? Of course not. Black is getting under a heavy attack here, and in trading the queens is going to be one of our best defenders. So, simple move, what do we play? Queen h7 check, of course. King to f8. And again, another nice and simple move. Here, white to move and win some material. Remember, look for the forced moves, checks, captures, and threats. We go ahead and play knight c takes on e6. Here, black cannot help but lose more material here. In the game, he just goes ahead and plays f takes e6. Does it matter which knight we use to take on e6? Of course it does. Always use a knight that is less active. In this case, this knight on c5. Why is it less active? Because this knight is controlling a lot of checkmate squares over here. This knight over here is just maybe attacking a pawn. The idea right now, attack the king. So we take on e6. We notice, well, we can't really take back with the rook or else we'll lose the exchange, which, to be honest, is the best move here. You probably do want to just play knight, rook takes and then knight takes, queen takes. You aren't getting checkmated here, but you will be losing the game at some point. So, black did not want to lose any material, so he's going to lose the game even faster. F takes on e6. Now we just play simple chess again, our natural moves. Queen takes on g6 here, threatening the checkmate on f7. Black went ahead and played. Knight to d8. Oof, anytime you're moving your knight backwards, things have definitely gone wrong. Computer's already giving this as a forced checkmate in 11. You can try to play like a computer. I'm going to play like a human because that's how I play. We can go ahead here and win some more material. What's the move that we play here? Remember, checks, captures, and threats. Knight h7 check. The king has to run to g8. I mean, I guess if you run to e7, you're just going to be giving up piece. I guess it doesn't really mind at this point. Oof. And computer's being savage right now. It doesn't even take the bishop in check. It says we're going to cut the king off and go for that checkmate. Bishop g5. Oof. Disgusting stuff here. So, in the game, black's pretty much already resigned at this point. After knight h7, he just played king to g8. And actually now it's just checkmate in 2 moves here. Unfortunately, Chernev, I guess, got a little too happy in this game. He played queen takes e8 check, which is obviously winning with just material. Can you find the move here that Chernev missed? Checkmate in 2 here. Hopefully you found it. Knight f6 check. If the king goes to f8, checkmate on e8. And if you play king to h8, it's checkmate on h7. Hope you enjoyed the game. I'll see you next time.